Remember that? All right, we are here. We are making noise. I don't know if you can hear us. That's what's scaring me right now. I think we're good. I think everything's okay. What do you think?
I'm going to pull it up right now, Levack, to make sure.
You do it. Yeah, you do that, and then we'll go, because this is a well-oiled machine. It's a Techies Tuesday. Your best way back to normal. Check us out at tefirewater.com. That's where you find Tech East, but you can check us out right now on the Tech East Facebook page as well. No audio, huh? Like, why aren't we getting audio? I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. You might go. I mean, you still got nothing? You still got nothing?
I got nothing.
Oh, I don't know. Wait. How about now? Try it now. You got anything now? How about now? You guys are experiencing this awasomeness that is.
This is just us scrambling
through the board.
I'll check on my phone right now.
Yeah, check on your phone.
Don't worry. On the audio side, all of this will stand.
Yeah, it'll be awesome on the audio side of us not knowing what the hell we're doing. So again, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on
we're live.
YouTube,
there we are.
I bet you we were working the entire time. I think Goz is just
the early 2:30 start has us rattled like the Yankees and the Major League Baseball and the Guardians and everybody else. That's what the early start time did to us.
Yeah, that will go with that. Okay,
you can find excuses real quick.
I'm either going to blame you or that.
Okay.
So as long as we're all aware that it's not my fault, everything's fine. Levack and Goz. Again, you can check us out, Godzilla Media's YouTube when we're doing it live. Goz's Twitter, because he's a dick. And then, of course, the Techies Fire and Water Restoration Facebook page. We're live from the Techies Fire and Water Restoration Studios here on Central Ave. And it has been it's been an adventurous day. Adventurous day, my friend, as I continue to clean up all of Goz's messes around the capital region.
Are we doing that out of the gates? We can if we want. We can if we want. I didn't think we were going to go here, but I mean, you teased it so well off the top.
There's no better time for you to admit that I'm better at everything than you than right away. I think personally, I think that's the way it should be and the way it should go. I think what everyone needs to know is how everything goes. Our buddy Matt Woods, Hobart alum, first show, fellas. I can't wait for you to come on the show, Matt. Looking forward to it. Today, went and met with a bunch of people that we've worked with in the past that won't talk to Goz, and they all said that basically what it comes down to is who. I think is really what the resounding response was. It was, Levack and who's that guy?
You talked to two people today. One of them, we're going to be talking to a lot more next month. I was just startled by his reaction because we've locked some stuff in. I can announce it now. It's locked in.
Yeah.
We're doing stuff at Impact Athletic Center, which is super exciting. You ran into somebody who, why don't I just say his name? Matt Sames. You ran into Matt Sames. He was
afraid to say names.
Well, look, he was confused about our show together.
Right. Well, because I am, I'm the Lion King. I'm working with the Columbus Lions in Columbus, Georgia, as a part owner of the group, and I spend some time down there. I spend some time up here. I'm everywhere, and I think what freaked him out is we're putting together. I'm working with the Empire to put together a team to work with the Special Olympics for the Polar Plunge on November 19th up in Lake George. So I did a lot walk with Nate from Mohawk and Chris Hughes from the Special Olympics. So then I see Matt Sames, who's putting that together for the Impact Center, and he goes, "Awesome, how's everything going?" I'm like, "Well, a lot of time in Georgia. Why?" So I think he lost it. He goes, "Wait, so are you leaving? So you're going to Georgia? You're leaving Levack and Goz. You're not doing the shows with Goz anymore." And I could see him canceling the show in his mind. I could see him saying,
"Abort."
Yeah, he's like, I pay for Levack. I accept Goz. And I was like, no, I'm going to do the shows that we've agreed to. I'll do. I'm like, obviously, there's a couple dates that are in flux because I don't know exactly when I'm going down to Columbus in November. We're working those dates out, and then December. I'm going a week a month until the season, and the plan is for me to be down there a lot more. So he's just like, oh, okay, so you're still doing the shows. I'm like, yeah. So that was that. But he obviously took none of the information you gave him to heart.
None. So he's one of the 3 people today that I've just texted, and it just different things have happened. So we've talked. Luckily, those are locked in. If you want the dates on when Levack and I will be live from the Impact Athletics Center, check out gozlomedia.com. Those dates are locked in. As far as I know, according to Matt's text, those dates are locked in. A lot of them coming up in November and December, so that'll be a lot of fun. The second one, our pal Chad over at the Hideaway in the Iron's Edge.
Yeah.
He is on his way to Yankee Stadium. We will talk Yankees Game 5.
I'm sure he's at Phillies
and everything else.
That's why we're starting early, by the way. Yankees game, 4:07 first pitch today.
Yes, that's exactly right. So that's why it's a little bit earlier. Our audio side gets a nice little preview of that and everything else. Yeah, so we were texting earlier, and he's going to the Yankee game. But just we'll call it scheduling situations. He got back to you quicker. And he got back to me.
Yeah, so Goz has been hitting him up for like a million different things. He stopped replying to Goz. I just hit him up real quick and said, hey, are we good with this, this, and this? And everything was resolved instantly.
Within 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. And then our good friend, my good friend, Mark Bardak, who runs Ed Lewing Associates, who we worked with, for SPAC and Sienna and a million other things when we were on terrestrial radio. Goz said, guy just vanished.
Unbelievable. This
right
guy.
Off the face of the earth.
Please, somebody send
right
this
off
cut.
The face of the earth. The guy went away. He just vanished. You couldn't get Mark Bardak on the phone. I was like, hold on. I've been friends with Mark a long time. I don't think that's real. And sure enough, so I talked to Mark for about an hour today.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I want to rip the rest of my hair out. Mark,
is there anybody else that's not taking your calls? I could call like have you recently lost like a relative that told you they passed away? Do you want me to try to get them on the phone? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just don't want to talk to you.
DraftKings doesn't get back to me, although they're proud sponsors here. I'm going to give DraftKings a call. We got some exciting DraftKings things soon to talk about. But
actually, you know why DraftKings doesn't talk to you, Mr. 15-cent freaking bet, Captain Pink Panties.
Let's get back to Mr. Mark Bardak.
They look at me and they're like, that mother effer will blow $100 a game. That's our guy responsibly and whatever crap. But you over here with your 10-cent wagers, no, they're like, listen, get out of the freaking kiddie pool. At least come swim in the deep end with the rest of us, and we'll give you a call once in a while, buddy. They're paying when DraftKings pays you more than you pay them in advertising. They're not going to deal with you. At least when you're winning money from them, like, all right, we'll get that back one day.
Losing money, probably more so. They're going to keep.
Well, I'm saying, like, I cleaned up last night.
Hey.
I cleaned up. One of my locks came through. I think I went 2-2 this weekend. I'm not positive. I think I went 2-2. And, the big one hit last night.
Back to the Mark Bardak situation. For our non-Capital Region watchers, listeners over this, he runs a company called Ed Lewing Associates out here in the Capital Region. It's a marketing firm.
Monster marketing firm. Been around forever.
That's true. So I talk to Mark twice a week for, 5 years.
Yeah, when he needed something from you.
My God. The moment this guy didn't need something from me, texts, calls, emails, unbelievable. This guy has not gotten back to me in 2 years. And I won't say it's personal, but it felt personal at times.
Well, there's two issues. There's two major differences.
Okay.
So he would hit you up twice a week to get things done. He only had to ask me once.
No.
That's one.
Not like
that's one.
That's not what that
means. And then two would probably be the way that we both exited our former employer.
That has nothing to do with that, though. He's a marketing firm. If he finds ways to make money in a business, I work with a bunch of marketing firms now.
You went.
That's bad business.
Scorched earth.
No, I didn't go scorched.
You went scorched earth.
I disagree with that. But
you did like a 16-part podcast series on what a piece of crap they were, and whether or not you were telling the truth, you could have done 4. and me, I just politely walked out the door and said, "Everyone, just like my dad who went to get smokes 20 years ago and never been seen again.
Never been seen again.
I just looked at everybody and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to get a pack of smokes," and I left. And then like a year later, they went, "He doesn't even smoke." It's all about your exit, buddy. You got to have an exit strategy. That's what it is.
You and I will politely disagree on that. We don't need to dive into those walls, but I will say, Mark Bardak, I know you're not watching a podcast or listening to one.
No, he's on his way to Belmont today.
Sure,
I was talking to him. Remember, he and I had a long conversation about our lives, how everything's going for him. He's doing very well. Very busy man.
I was going to joke around and say he probably took the train because he's so old, but he actually probably made of taking a train because it might be cheaper.
No, I believe he's my age, by the way, too. So
yeah, he's in the same class.
Yeah, well, his wife. I know his wife and I got.
Right.
She's one of the, she's one of the Colony 94s. Right,
she is
part of the group.
She is.
So that's the other reason he has to talk to me. the beautiful Brooke will tell him that he's in trouble if he doesn't. So
if you'd like to send over more enemies, it's at Tom Goz, TOMGUZZ, Sal Palantonio.
Sal Pal.
He's definitely on the list.
Jordan Ronan.
Jordan, I don't want to call him an enemy, but he also doesn't get back to me.
Jordan Ronan, not your enemy, but not going to put up with your shit. Literally.
Yeah. Tim Reynolds is a new one on the list. I thought know Tim Reynolds from the Associated Press does.
Yeah.
We had him on when Dwayne Wade retired. He's a Shen guy.
Miami centric.
He's claiming he no longer does podcasts or radio shows because of the heat he took from the Le Batard show.
Well, that wouldn't make you like an enemy. That just means you're beneath him.
Yeah, I guess so. That felt just as bad though. The message. Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, listen, you knew we were going to lose a lot of those friends. A lot of those ones weren't going to be around anymore.
That's right. The high class media.
Yeah, that right there. Listen, I barely talk to us, and now that we're a podcast. I didn't know this is a thing. I still don't think anybody. You've yet to show me like a ratings. Like you always say, we're doing really well, views and downloads, and like, subscribe, and do all the you say we're doing. But then I go, all right, well, show me it, and you go, you just talk, and you don't show me any quantification. So I don't agree. As far as I know, there's no one watching this or listening to this ever. And that is why I like it. It's fun. It's like Dear Diary. That's how I treat each of the Levack and Goz now. Dear Diary, and then we have fun. Well, I have fun. Usually at your expense.
Let's talk about our friends.
Tech East, but it sounds like a ghost wailing.
You mentioned
our
friends in Mohawk. You were visiting today. I got a nice call from my mother-in-law yesterday who's looking for a new vehicle. So Cam McKenna, I sent him a text yesterday about potentially a new vehicle.
She's still looking?
Still looking. She's confused by this. By the way, Mohawk Honda, fantastic. Here's some things she's concerned about. And a lot of people go through this. This is why it works well when we talk about Mohawk. That she is nervous stepping onto the lot. She gets concerned. She doesn't know who to trust, how to go through the process. She's heard all these horror stories of people feeling like they're not getting the right price. She has guns ablazing. She's already ready to go. I'm like, if you come to Mohawk, you will be fine. If you work with great people like Cam McKenna, Brian McKenna, Greg Johnson, Lindsey Harridan, everybody on the lot will take care of you. Shout out to Scott Moynihan, Nick and Nate on social. They want to work with you. The reason why they continue to have success here across the Capital Region and more. That's one great side of Mohawk Honda, one of many great sides. The other thing is the supply chain. Some people might be confused of why or why not a vehicle that you've owned for years, you might be able to sell back and get the same price you bought for it years ago. It's hard for people to understand that. It's also hard for some people to understand that a vehicle they thought wouldn't be there is there or isn't there, can be there soon. A lot of that stuff is confused to change.
What the hell did you just say?
What I'm saying is that if you're looking for a vehicle, Mohawk Honda is your spot.
Okay.
Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. What I was talking about is she is confused about the supply chain. I didn't realize so many other people didn't realize that the car industry the last 2 years is far different than what it's been 10 to 15 years ago.
Here's what I don't understand. Like you and I have to focus on terms like supply chain, right? Because when we tell people why a vehicle isn't available, you got to tell them why, right? You can't just sit there and go, me no understand. There one day, poof, gone next. That's not great radio, or whatever the hell this is. But other people, what does she want? What does she want? She want a CRV there?
She wants a Pilot? A 2022 Pilot EXL.
Okay, then that's all she says is that, and then they go get it for her. Right? Isn't that the deal?
Yes, but now she's in a spot where she might want a 2023. So now she's trying to figure out, this is Cam stuff. This is him. I can't only do so much.
Yeah. I heard I was at the Mohawk Chevrolet today. I went over there. I was talking to our friend Chris Hughes from the Special Olympics, and I heard what people are doing right now. There's dealerships out there that are going like $10,000 over MSRP just because they can.
Ugh, whoa.
Insane amount. Not friends of Mohawk though. Not our friends of Mohawk. No, this is MSRP. That's the price, and then we work from there. They're good people over there. That's what they are.
They always go out of their way to please you.
That's true. I heard that somewhere. I did. By the way, we have at least 3 people who are watching this nonsense. We have, of course, Matt Woods, first show fellas. Don't know why it's funny to me when Woods says fellas, and I think it's great.
I do too.
Yeah. Sean Martin said you have at least one watching, better than working. All right, I agree with that, Sean. No way to go there. And then Ryan McCarthy. Nice to know I'm one of the nobodies watching, listening. Leave it to Ryan to take it as an insult that I don't think the show's good enough or have a way to tell, but because he's watching, I'm insulting him.
You know, I've always thought about it's a very old school thing to like name people who watch a show or like a fan base, you know, like the show bros out in Syracuse. What was Stearns called? The
Whack Pack.
The Whack Pack.
But that wasn't all the fans. That was just like a group of weirdos.
I would like the Levack and Goz.
We can't do the Levack Pack. That doesn't work.
The Nobodies is hysterical.
The Nobodies. I don't hate Nobodies. That's cool. I like it.
Nobodies.
Because we're everywhere.
That's right.
And know we're all. We need a better. We'll come up with a group. We'll come up with a group.
That's the first one I actually enjoyed.
I was the one when we were on the team.
Yeah.
I came up with the bench warmers.
Oh.
And like at first people were like, "Oh no, it sounds insulting." I go, "No, it's the bench warmers. All the perks of being a star athlete without breaking a sweat." That was my whole pro. And then everybody went, "Well, why don't you tell us that?" And it's like, "Well, I did. You just didn't listen until you already changed it to like the loyalty club or some stupid generic bull crap."
What about the teammates?
The teammates.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, I mean, again, it plays, I guess, but like I like the bench warmers was different. It was cool. I thought it was what I wanted to be. And then a movie came out called The Bench Warmers.
Stunk.
Yeah, there's some laughs in it.
Second fart noise into the mic today.
Wow, you're playing the hits. Playing the hits for all six. I see six people, like at least six pieces of machinery are on.
What about the Yankees, Levack? You and I were supposed to be recapping the Yankee game today. We were supposed to be talking about potentially the Yankees in the ALCS or the end of the Yankees season. And here we sit earlier in the afternoon, still no Game 5 played. I saw social media unload on Rob Manfred, and everyone blamed him because it rained.
It's his fault.
Oh, okay.
Well, again, this goes back to the first rainout, okay? Why mess with things that work? Oh, well, we have a chance to score a little bit more money if we play a game, rest, play a game, travel. But no, do what's worked forever, okay? Play 2, rest. That's your travel rest day. Go play 2, travel rest day, play 1, done. Now, what you did is by doing it this way, you get 1 push back. So that's that. You're going to play 4 games straight in a row, which, guess what? Now you can't because I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this. It's craziness. The Northeast has crazy weather in October. Things fall from the freaking sky. You're lucky it hasn't freaking snowed, Manfred, you piece of crap. So now, not only are you dealing with this where you got a game out at 4:07, guys are going to end up flying into Houston, landing in Houston like 3 a.m. and then playing the number 1 seed in the American League. But you maybe aren't even playing right now. If you had done the first 2 games without the rain out, it would have been boom, boom, 1-2. Yankees would have went out there with Cole and Cortez against maybe a Bieber on a short rest or shorter rest. And then you win those 2. You get a travel day. You got all the weight of the world's on Cleveland's shoulders. You probably sweep the damn thing in 3. And then we don't have any of these problems. Rob Manfred sucks.
4 games in 17 days for the Yankees. That's what we're looking at with the game today. 4 games. I mean, that's tough. That's tough in the playoffs.
You're saying 4 games in 17 days. It's four games in 4 days. Well, 5 days with the travel, and then you have another game tomorrow. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. It's not good. It's not good. Astros are going to have a bigger advantage. I don't even know. I'm sure they've already figured out how to replace the trash can. I'm sure they got something figured out for the pitching. But this is what we're dealing with. Manfred's a joke. He's the worst. Manfred is the worst commissioner in professional sports.
I would go back to that Thursday night where there was no West Coast game. And they easily could have said, okay, we're going to wait this out a little bit. On television that night, that our biggest competition is that awful Commanders Bears game. Let's just step in at like 9 and play a game here and see what can happen and see what it can. They decided not to do it. Now, here's what could have happened yesterday. Once they saw the rain forecast coming, and I think you and I were texting about this earlier in the day too, like they could have said, all right, we're going to start this at like 9:30 or 10 and just muscle through it. But if they had done that, the backlash of that would have been far worse than what it is today. Like if the Yankees lost that game 2-1 and a ball just like flopped in like the wet grass or something bizarre, a wild pitch that you just can't make a play on, the weather clearly would have had an effect. So the fact that they're able to push it today, although 4:30 is strange, I don't know why. I don't know if it's AEW got in the way or something got. All this still comes down to television. And I know Manfred's the easy one to blame here. He doesn't control the weather, but it feels as if baseball had multiple chances to figure this out. Like they could have done something else and they decided not to.
Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Is that John Wooden?
I thought it was me. I just thought that up.
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. I believe that's John Wooden. Nice.
Well, it's also Jeff Levack right now.
Dash Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. All right.
Yeah. Because again, you front load this thing so that there's room to move back. If anything, they should have done again the 2 travel 2 1. Hell, tell me that you want to go 3 travel 2 if you need to. I'd be fine with that because I had the home field advantage, so it's awesome. But like, it just doesn't. This whole thing, you set yourself up. You invited problems. You invited these issues, and now, hopefully, the Yankees have to deal with going to Houston and landing at like 3 a.m. for a game, the next day or the same day, the same exact day. But possibly Cleveland does as well. Now, it's just again, you're already playing the team that has the best record. You're playing the team that's doing this. You're playing the team and now I'm gonna, hey everybody, welcome to your hotel. And by the way, the front desk staff is Lazy Eye Larry and Stinky Susan, who are the only 2 who are willing to be awake at this time in Houston. And they're gonna help you get to your rooms, guys. Have a good one. It's poop. It's poop, and it's Manfred, and Manfred is poop.
It is better that it's Nestor Cortez on the mound, though, for the Yankees. But
we had Nestor Cortez yesterday, wouldn't we?
Wasn't Jameson Italian being talked about? That's Italian. I went to the Cleveland accent like Tito Francona, right. The Italian guy. What do we thought he was called? I kind of want to call him that now.
But again, what if you get the win with Taillon? Now I got Cortez going game 1 against the Astros. You know what I mean?
I think Cortez is better.
Yeah, he's better, but you get a win with Taillon, you feel pretty good too. The Yankees aren't going to lose this game because of their starting pitching, in my humble opinion. I think their starting pitching could technically, let's say they give up 4 runs. Bad day for Yankees pitching. It's the Yankees bats. The Yankees bats should have no problem getting you somewhere around 8-9 runs. That's what it should be. So realistically, you could go out and pitch the first inning. As long as you get off the mound eventually you would just spike into the dirt, just like you did in front of Pete Rose. So you're not
me.
Check that
okay.
Example.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, they could go with an opener. And as long as they get through that game, it doesn't matter. Now you're going into, hopefully you're going into Houston. Hopefully you have to deal with the problem of everything, of just dealing with it.
It's too much wishful thinking.
Ryan McCarthy wrote it out for you so you can have it.
Nice.
Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. John Wooden, Dash Levack. I went with the planning. I used planning.
You did.
So I think it's mine.
Okay.
I think it's
right.
I think it's mine.
Ryan, take that up again and just
leave that Wooden person, whoever the hell that is. Does he hang out with Buzz Lightyear? Is that who that is?
I texted you yesterday, Levack, and this probably is the karma
stop that.
Of I told you how excited I was for the Yankee game, which I don't think I've ever done.
You become a Yankee fan.
I was so excited.
I feel like it's weird that you become a Yankee fan.
No,
that happens. Yeah,
no.
You're a dark cloud.
That's
what everybody told me today. Chad, Mark Bardak, and Chaplain Hideaway,
Sal Palantonio, Matt Saves.
We had a meeting. Like, if you ever have that feeling that there's like a group of people just talking about you behind your back about what a piece of crap you are, and your name is Goz, it's happening. It is.
It's one of my favorite Entourage episodes called The Meeting of the Families, where everyone's there talking about Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven's character, and he walks in. That's what happened today earlier. I was going to mention Aaron Hicks. It's wishful thinking that Aaron Hicks will not be playing today. I don't think that's happening because Yankee fan, New York sports fan, if you want to be pissed off at one guy, I know the blame can go anywhere from whoever you want, pick Stanton, Judge, Boone, whoever, Manfred. Can we just get Aaron Hicks to hustle? Can we get him to run a little bit? Can we get him to do something out there? And I'm talking about like New York fans. That Aaron Hicks is going viral the other day because there's a ball hit to the outfield and he's jogging like it's mid-September. I don't even know what he's jogging. It's like maybe he's out here taking a walk with a kid. I'd like Aaron Hicks to get out of the lineup because they got better options than him, but I don't think that's going to happen today.
Batting ninth in left field, Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, there he is.
He's there. But again, like, look at this. Wow, this is kind of is this the right lineup? Like, it doesn't look like I expected it to look, to be honest with you. I have to pull up the old MLB lineups. Remember when we used to do lineups every day?
That's right.
They were sponsored. Remember those?
Me too.
Remember what sponsored meant?
Well, you looked at it. We have many a sponsor. We have a big sponsor right behind us right now. While you look up that lineup to confirm,
yeah, no, it's real. Pepsi's batting ninth.
Is Judge leading off?
No.
Okay.
That's what caught me.
Yeah.
Gleyber Torres.
Interesting.
It's a Gleyber day. Leading off, playing second base is Gleyber Torres. Batting second, the big fella, Aaron Judge in right field. Anthony, you can sit on my face. Rizzo's at first base, batting third. Clean up, Giancarlo Stanton, DH. Josh Donaldson's at third base, batting fifth. Oh, Cabrera is your shortstop, batting sixth. Harrison Masturbator, your center fielder, batting seventh. Jose Lee Trevino's catching, and he is batting eighth. And the ninth is Aaron Hicks in left field.
All right.
That's what you wanted?
Okay. No, I just
Somebody
wondered
pay me.
if he was going to be the
Somebody pay
impact.
me.
What are you
Pay
doing
me
with your
money.
hand? No, I'm not going to
Give
pay
me
you
money.
anything.
That's how I get paid for that.
That's
That's big time right there.
Anymore.
That's the thing right there.
So there you go, Yankee fans. The season could continue to roll on into the ALCS against Houston, a team that almost has time in and time out taken out the Yankees, or it ends today against the Cleveland. John Sterling calls them the Guardians today. 4:07 first pitch.
There's only one way that we can guarantee the Yankees get past the Astros. We need to find and shave Dallas Keuchel.
Shave him. Okay.
His beard has some kind of mystical power that is, even though he's not with them anymore, it still holds sway over the Yankees and their games against Houston.
Where did he go? Did he end up in San Diego? Dallas Keuchel was going to get this huge contract.
Yeah, you were one of the
Monster
people
deal.
wanting the Yankees to
I
give him all
did.
the money.
And San Diego's got a really good staff. I feel like Dallas Keuchel just got hurt or just crashed at the wrong time. I'm struggling now to remember the life of Dallas Keuchel. Was he one of these pitchers in similar fashion to Yu Darvish, who got the COVID contract year and spent a year somewhere else and got hurt? Because Darvish had that quick stint there with the Cubs before he headed off to the West Coast.
Mr. Keuchel was on not one, not two, but three Major League Baseball teams this season. Care to guess what they were?
I would guess the Padres was one.
You are incorrect.
Was it the Giants?
Still incorrect.
Wow.
Scary how bad you are.
My last one would be the White Sox.
That is one of the three teams.
Okay.
I got to change that back to something else.
Is it the Pirates?
Not the Pirates.
All
No.
right, I'm good. I got my three guesses. I failed.
The Chicago White Sox. So let me see here. It's I'm going to give you the games there as well. The record, I should say.
Okay.
2-5 with the White Sox. 0-2 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then 0-2 with an ERA of 12.6 for the Texas Rangers.
Whoa! Those would have been the two last teams I would have guessed.
So, but
wow,
you find him, shave his face. The curse is lifted.
Have you enjoyed Bob Costas during the games?
I hate Bob Costas.
What do you hate Bob Costas? That was so quick. You didn't even have to think about it.
It's just like, tell me that you're trying for a bigger job than the one you have without telling me you're trying for a bigger job than the one you have. It's almost like Bob Costas says, sports is great. I want to narrate all the things Morgan Freeman gets now. Like I want to be the James Earl Jones. I want to, like, everything is like this super poetic. Like it's not like, like that's an 0-2 count, blah, blah. It's on this blustery October day here at Yankee Stadium. Two men do battle. One with a bat, one with nothing but a ball and a glove. As we look to see who will win in this treacherous head-to-head confrontation between Aaron Judge and Shane Bieber.
It's pretty good.
and then Ron Darling. I think Bieber's going to try to paint the corners here and not throw anything down the middle of the plate.
The chemistry is just palpable, isn't it? The stuff on social media is great with those long expressions. If you're on Twitter, just type in Bob Costas, Ron Darling, and read some of that stuff. It's having Levack and I continue to laugh night in and night out.
Bob Costas has turned every Twitter person into a poet. Like some of these people are writing things that are so like and they're making them up, but they're so freaking good. And then and it's like stuff that you wouldn't even think of. I'm just like dying. I'm like, because I've seen other tweets from these people, and a lot of them are like fart noise, whatever. Did you see the last Simpsons? And now it's Bob Costas. The fall breeze that brushes across Jacobs. Like, he's just like, what? Who are you?
I mean, like this one from Kathleen on Twitter, who wrote, "We're all here in Cleveland, where the slight autumn chill in the air is a bleak reminder of the chilling fact that each day we are spiraling towards the unavoidable conclusion we all call death on Darling. I think he goes fastball here. They're so
like
good.
2 tweets before that, she's making her ass clap. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Fitsimo Pena. While it seems a joyous night for fans of the banks of Lake Erie, the unfortunate truth remains. It is indeed possible that the Zodiac Killer, who is yet to be officially caught, could be amongst us here, amongst the Cleveland crowd on Darling. I think he goes check swing here.
I would love if like Bob Costas like is just especially full of himself on one of these, and then Darling just goes, "Hey, remember when you had pink eye?" Like that would just be
just out of the blue.
Just out of the blue. Just
what was that deal, huh?
Hey, what was that? Where'd you get that? Somebody fart on your pillow? What are you in? Are you in a little? You're in a little like fart in the face play? What are you into,
Bobby?
Yeah, give us a little pull back the curtain there, Costas. What do you got?
Bob Costas is one of the great voices in baseball history. He's a Hall of Famer. He's everything else. I'm now convinced, though. What it's told me is that, well, partially what you said, social media can actually be funny, not the cesspool that it usually is. I would pay now to be on Twitter to see some of this content of how good it is. I would actually pay to be on Twitter because of that stuff.
You don't have any money.
And also, I'm convinced that Bob Costas, like, there's nobody who can be good as a commentator or broadcaster via social media. Like, there is nobody who can avoid any type of criticism, whether it's Joe Buck or Troy Aikman, who was getting blasted last week, Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland. Everybody's getting blasted.
I would love for someone to count the amount of words Troy Aikman says during a normal broadcast and how many he said last night. Because he went out of his way to watch what he said. There was no dress comments. There was no nothing. I actually like when I feel bad for Vanilla Jay-Z, that's telling you something. Like, that's just, people are ridiculous. But like, yeah, social media is always gonna come after you. But when it's a resounding like group and they're all like becoming better writers, Twitter could work for Town Square Media right now. Because they're all writing about something that has nothing to do with what they thought they were texting about. So it's like it's I don't know. Like Costas is out of control. Costas is so pompous. He makes Collinsworth sound down to earth. That's how pompous he is. Like it's just Mike Tridico, all the whatever.
No, Syracuse Mets broadcaster, Mike Tridico.
Yeah, Tridico, whatever. I was just Ron Tridico's. I was just talking to him before the show. He's so over the top. He's so pompous. I like it for the Olympics because you want to believe the Olympics are more important than like 6 people running around a track. You want to believe that it's like got this overwhelming sway in the world. Baseball is extremely important to me, but in the horrible possibility of the Yankees not advancing to the ALCS, I'm still going to go to work tomorrow. Like, I'm still going to go about my day. I don't need Bob Costas out here reminding me death's around the corner because Judge whiffs on a 2-2 pitch. You know, like it's just too much. It's too much. I can't do it.
I have a quick true story about Bob Costas.
You gave him pink eye?
A younger version of me, teenager, fresh out of college. No, I might have still been in college. Got a nice career advice from Bob Costas.
Don't get pink eye.
I had that saved in my room, and one of his pieces of advice was, make sure you paint the picture to the audience. Talk about the clouds. Talk about the weather. Talk about which way the flag is waving in center field. I thought, wow, that's really cool. Bob Costas told me that. Now that's 15 years later, and here I am. Shut up, Costas, you bum.
What did he like write?
The irony.
How did he relate?
There was like a Q&A for Bob Costas. They did this thing called, back in the day, they had a thing called magazines. And they had like a sports magazine that came out. So Costas was a guest and people could write in questions, and they used mine. Shout out to Bud Poliquin, who used my question. So I had that in my room. Him and Jim Ross, 2 nice pieces of advice. Jim Ross, the broadcaster, of course. By God.
Wait,
he wrote me something as well.
Wait, same deal in a magazine?
He just gave me some cliche answer.
What was the magazine?
It was called like Central New York Sports.
So you're the Corey from Greenwich
that magazine.
Of Central. Yeah,
why didn't that work?
The only one who calls. You're like sending it like each one. They're like, oh, God, we don't have any more questions. I don't want to use that Kozlowski kid again, but he's all we have.
It's another T from Salve I see here.
That's cool. What did Jim Ross say? What did you ask him?
Same thing, just cliche stuff. Work on tape, listen to yourself. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you asked them both.
What's your broadcast?
Broadcaster.
Yeah, that's right.
How'd that work out for you?
Here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Here we are at Tech East Fire and Water Restoration, taking over the large conference room. They're trying to get in, but no, we're still pretending we're alive on radio.
Before we get to the NFL, let's talk about Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Levack, they're proud sponsors of our nonsense. Lily and David Fine Jewelers are celebrating their 10th anniversary. Lily and David Fine Jewelers have been open for 10 years. Shout out to Alyssa, David, the entire crew there. Route 50, the Shops of Wilton, they want to make sure that they find something for her. Guys, whatever it is, whether it's your fiance, your wife, your girlfriend, maybe you're hoping to get a girlfriend.
Or
at some
all
point.
of them.
Yes. Exactly. It could be all those things. Up to 60% off pieces of jewelry this month to celebrate 10 years of Lily and David Fine Jewelers. There's the logo if you're watching on our visual side, top right corner. For more information, check out our ticker below as well. Stop in. Telling you, with the holidays just around the corner, you save that gift. You have it for Christmas, maybe for the anniversary, and you get up to 60% off. Shout out to everybody over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Check out their Facebook page as well for more updates. Well, they'll show you the marked jewelry that you can save on this month. It's Lily and David Fine Jewelers. When you stop in there, Route 50, the Shops of Wilton, tell them you heard about it. My story, there's the wedding band, boom. Lily and David Fine Jewelers. We both know from experience. We love the crew over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers.
I told Alyssa that should I ever find somebody worth buying a ring for again, I would go right there. That's where I would
That
go.
sounded like the start to that Boys to Men song. And if I ever fall in love again.
Yeah, I mean, and I do. I fall in love quite frequently. Have you ever had an ice cream sandwich? Oh my God. With the cookies instead of the wafers. Ice cold 40 of Old English. Yep. That's love right there, my friend.
Just hits different.
It's fleeting love. And it gives me gas. But I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it.
Do you want to start with our New York teams here? The Giants,
sure.
The Jets,
Let's talk
the Bills.
some football.
Let's talk New York football teams. I'll change the banner as we talk. There we go. Giants, Bills, Jets. Let's lead off with the Jets. I feel like the Jets have been almost ignored by us when we talk about our New York recaps and everything else. The New York Jets, 27-10 winners over the Green Bay Packers. Levack, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, the best rookies in football. Zach Wilson didn't have to do too much. We love our guy, Brian Baldinger, on Twitter. Does his baldy breakdowns and stuff. He's got weird fingers, there's no doubt. Quinnen Williams. Go check it out on Twitter, at Tom Goz, TOMGOZZ. Dominated the Green Bay Packers. And now Quinnen Williams is being talked about as one of the best defensive linemen, not named Grady Jarrett or Aaron Donald in the NFL this quick. The Jets' young players have come together.
Sorry, our correction department.
Sure.
That was Shy, not Boys to Men.
Wow, what a great call. That's absolutely right.
Stupid.
That's absolutely right.
How dare you?
What a whiff by me.
How dare you? You should be ashamed.
What do you make of Ryan McCarthy's New York Jets and that victory over the Green Bay Packers?
It's getting harder and harder to ignore them. And like I don't ignore the Jets on purpose. It's just you really still haven't seen what you want to see from Zach Wilson and stuff like that. But to your point, you didn't have to. The way that game played out was perfect. Here's the deal. I think that game says just as much about how much the Green Bay Packers roster hates Aaron Rodgers as it does about how much the Jets roster loves Big Game Bob Saleh, and they will go to war for him. So that being said, a win's a win. You feel good about it. It's a dominating victory over a Green Bay team. And obviously there's points where it looked like it could go either way, but not many. You look forward. Your next game is at Denver. There's no reason for me to believe that Russell Wilson is going to beat you. So it's going to be defense versus defense pretty much in that game. Then you got the Pats. I mean, you don't know what Pats you're getting. You could, if you're the Jets and you're a Jets fan, you could be cautiously optimistic about 6-2, 5-3 before you play the Bills. Because if you were winning because of Zach Wilson, I would say that the Patriots are going to destroy you. The Patriots will probably beat them just because how far along they are and like they know their identity is set, but they may not. But like you could go 6-2.
You're right in that mix. You definitely are, with wins and losses, with young players stepping up. It sounds so stupid, but it's true. Like I cannot believe I'm saying Big Game Bob Saleh.
Big Game Bob Saleh
actually has this super young team believing they got that type of swagger. It's almost like Rex Ryan turned down a little bit. When Rex Ryan had those successful Jet teams in the start of the 2010 decade, it was veterans who had swagger. Now it's rookies who have swagger, and Robert Big Game Bob Saleh is leaning into that a little bit with Sauce Gardner walking off Lambeau Field with the cheese head on and everything else.
That was awesome. And like now you get a little budding rivalry between Lazard and Sauce because Lazard smacks it off his head. I don't think Lazard finishes his career in Green Bay. Who knows where he ends up? If he ends up somewhere where they're seeing each other twice a year, that could be fun. That could be really. You don't forget that kind of stuff because he obviously was so mad he was willing to do it. And if you're Sauce Gardner, you laugh about it now, but you know somewhere he goes, I ever get a chance to D that dude up, he's screwed.
I don't know if we can answer these questions right now because they're probably like a lot of thought process here. Okay,
right, I don't need
you mentioned the Patriot one. Yeah. As of this moment right now, are the Jets the second best team in the AFC East?
They're creeping, but it's still the Pats.
Okay. Of the AFC as a conference, would you consider the Jets a top 5 team in the AFC? Right now, if the playoffs started, they'd be the 6th team in the AFC.
No,
they'd play Tennessee.
I don't. I'm sorry because you're behind the Bills. Oh yeah, you know what, man?
Right?
You're behind the Bills. Bills, Chiefs are definites.
Wow, it gets tough all of a sudden, right?
I still put Baltimore ahead of me. The records are.
And the Jets beat Baltimore.
I put
right.
They might be. I mean, I don't know what that says about the AFC though.
So if we're talking about the Jets potentially as a top 5 team in the AFC,
6.
Okay, so let's say they're 6th. We're not going to do power rankings. I hope to God we're not going to. But if they're somewhere between 4 and 6, you would just think easy math would tell you, are the Jets a top 10 team in the NFL? I mean, if we're putting them between 3 and 6, they might be a top 10 team in the NFL. Those are tough questions.
Because if you're going to say that, that means you're going to tell me that in a Super Bowl playoff 1-game elimination situation, you're taking the Jets over that other team. And there's not. That would mean that I'm putting them over 20 plus teams.
Not now. Like, okay, I'm with you on all your answers. I still feel like they need more. Like those 2 games coming up you mentioned, if they get to 6-2, we have to stop wondering like it's happening at that point. We're still in this wonder phase for the Jets. They had some comebacks and some wins. They won with the backup quarterback. Flacco had that, right? Uh-oh. What happened?
I just looked at the power rankings.
For ESPN.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing with your reaction, I would guess that the Jets are probably in the top 10 then with that reaction you just had.
You are correct.
Wow. Okay.
So they were 16th last week.
10?
9.
Ooh.
Right above your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right. I don't want to jump off the Jets, but I feel like this is a perfect segue to jump to the Giants, though, because a lot of those questions we just asked, right? Second best team in the division. I think that's now a yes for New York because they just only trail Philadelphia. If we asked if the Giants are a top 5 team in the NFC, that's a yes because they're 5-1. And if I asked if the Giants are a top 10 team in the NFL, I think all the questions we kind of went back and forth and felt like they were nose on for the Jets. Boston Dan's going to love this. They're all yeses for the Giants. They're a top 5 team in the NFC. They're the second best team in their division. If they were in a different division, they'd be number 1. And if the Jets are, you said 9?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what would the Giants be? Okay, I cannot believe I'm doing power rankings to set myself up.
Well, I'm doing you a favor. It's part of the conversation.
Yeah,
we're not going to go full power.
I would just throwing these teams out there, no particular order, not doing the game. I would say the Bills, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Vikings did win. I think that's like the combination. But after those 4, because that was a lot of the stuff from last week.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm trying to think of who would be 5. Is New York? New York would not be 5. Oh my God, are they 5? Are they 5?
Okay, I just want to point this out. The week we're not doing power rankings, here is the ESPN power ranking. Number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles.
No
Number
way.
3, the Kansas City Chiefs.
No way. Do not say
Number
the
4, the Minnesota Vikings. Number 5, the New York Football Giants.
Unbelievable.
The week we don't do the power rankings, Goz hits the top 5 out of the park and misses the Jets by 1.
Unbelievable. This is so. It's actually dumber. It's dumber. It's dumber than I got him right. It's so. Oh my God.
That is my favorite thing ever. The week we don't do it, you nail it. How can it be dumber? You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I answered my own questions today. Finally, after years of never helping me in any discussion. Okay. You know what, Dan? Boston Dan, this one's for you. I will apologize to the Giants in the preseason trashing. They are a far better team than I realized. That defense is tremendous. They are an awesome defense. You got half an apology. New York is good. New York is built to somehow win games with a good enough offense. The offensive line's fantastic. Finally, you can say that. Andrew Thomas take these stats for the nerds, what they are. Analytics was saying he was the best football player in September. Andrew Thomas. Not Mahomes, not Josh Allen, Andrew Thomas, which is bizarre. But good offensive line play, Barkley, good defense. They're a very good team. Now, for that second part you wanted an apology for about Daniel Jones, no. Honestly, I'm holding off on that Daniel Jones nonsense.
Honestly, I gotta be real with you. Guy who deserves an apology is probably David Gettleman.
Why?
Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, all the guys he drafted that you thought were whiffs are crushing it right now in the roles they've been asked to play. It was the coaches, not the GM, that was the problem.
Ooh. I would say 2 of those 3 are crushing it, but man, the coach does scream out, doesn't it? Like McAdoo, Judge, whom I know there's another one I'm missing in between there for the Giants that was not good as well. Good God, man. Wow. Brian Daboll's that big of Shermer, thank you. Brian Daboll's that big of a factor.
Brian Daboll's, I mean, again, it's nice to have your GM and your head coach in lockstep. We're seeing that is so important in the modern NFL. However, Gettleman's players are playing very well under Brian Daboll. They just didn't play well under the other 3 coaches. So, I mean, if you want to go ahead and apologize.
You got half. Giants fans, are you happy?
You should apologize
Lindsay
to Gettleman.
And Boston Dan, anybody else.
Apologize to Gettleman.
Not yet. I think not yet.
I think you should apologize.
3 out of 30s. You're shooting 10% from the field there.
Just saying.
A lot of other ones stunk. How about the Buffalo Bills? The Bills get the win over the Chiefs. Late interception. Who had the cover there? You and I. Let's go. All right. We might have missed the Saints, but we nailed the Bills together. All right.
I got 2. I went 2 and 2 with my locks. Yeah, the Saints screwed me. I should have jumped off that boat when I saw you get on it. It was a hard fought game though. I think the Bills, that's the kind of victory you needed to see from the Bills. I know there's a lot of fan accounts and everything just taking wholesale shots at Colin Cowherd, calling him a clown and everything because he said Josh Allen's never won that kind of game and this, that, all these other things. That was the kind of game that you need to be able to bounce back, short memory, all those things that, it's easy to say, it's way harder to do. When things are rolling, nobody's going to beat the Buffalo Bills. Things were not rolling. They had many, many opportunities to give that game to Kansas City and, lay down. And the teams that Kansas City beat in the playoffs last 2 years would have got their asses whipped in this game. That's a big win for the Bills. They won an ugly game. They needed that.
Yep, that last drive by Josh Allen where he's leaping over guys. A quarterback leaping over defensive players. There are still moments. Hopefully this is the last time I have to do it. But my first reaction watching Josh Allen leap over guys, I thought, so other teams thought,
right?
So other teams thought Josh Rosen could do that, huh? They thought Sam Darnold could do that.
Different guys.
Baker Mayfield, they thought could do that.
Different guys. They weren't expecting the same thing.
I know teams thought Lamar Jackson could because they watched him do it against Syracuse. So I know that was possible. But that play and everything Josh Allen did, incredible. And Jordan Poyer, even though Josh Allen might be the star to get all the highlights, the fact that story comes out that his ribs are so hurt that he can't fly with the team, so he gets in a car and goes 15 hours to still play in the game. Yeah. Amazing for Buffalo. Like you said, they needed that win. It was great for the fan base. It puts Buffalo right there, silences the Colin Cowherds, the Nick Wrights, everybody else out in Kansas City of who's the top team in the AFC. Buffalo did that. That was a great win for the Bills.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's this might be the best, at least story-wise, the best 3 New York teams I can remember. Because there's been times where you knew the Jets were good, you knew the Giants were, you knew the Bills were good. We went into this year knowing the Bills were good and hoping to see something cool out of the Jets, but expecting the Giants to just, evaluate talent on their way to next year. And all 3 teams are in the top 10 of the power rankings. All 3 teams, if the season ended today, would be in the playoffs, and all three teams have a chance to keep playing in the postseason.
Ooh, let me push you on that second statement you had. We'll bring back an oldie but goodie from Levack and Goz. Only one of these though. Real or Mirage?
Okay.
All three New York teams are playoff teams.
I'm gonna say Mirage.
Okay.
But it's the only reason I'm saying Mirage is I think the Giants' schedule is too hard, and I think both Dallas and Philadelphia will be in the postseason. And I don't think the NFC East is good enough to have three teams in.
It's a really good answer. That's basically what I was going to say. I was going to say that Dallas is better.
After I said it?
Dak
of course you would say it after I said it.
Dallas has already beaten them with Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott's a better quarterback. You would think at one point, even though the Jets beat Green Bay, that somebody can figure it out. Is it going to come out of the NFC West? Is Seattle going to actually hurt teams' chances in that division to come out? It's much more difficult for me to say real right now. However, that is a perfect Monday Mirage that we used to do, because just like the desert, right? Like you're too far away right now. It seems like it's not real, but by the end of this month, if New York, the Jets are 6-2, and the Giants, whose schedule is, I know you mentioned there are some tougher games. There definitely are. There's also a stretch they got coming up here where they got 4 cupcake teams, and then they still got 2 games left with Washington. So pinpoint those games. And by the way, aren't the Giants, I believe somebody's a dog this week to the Jags already, a 3-point underdog to Jacksonville coming up.
Giants.
And it's the Giants. Yep. So
that's the kind of game where they're begging you to take the Giants.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Jags on that. And again, Giants fan, please send all hate mail to Goz at GozzillaMedia.com. I follow the betting. Like I like watching Jacksonville play. I think they got screwed this week, by the way. But when the line is set like that, where the Giants are playing the way they're playing, they just take down Green Bay and you're an underdog. That's not good. That's not good.
No, it's not.
It's not good.
We've mentioned a few other games. I think
let's get back. Can we do our job? The not so rapid recap. By the way, Corey from Greenwich. Hi guys. There you go. He's here.
Thanks, Corey.
So we're up to 6 total people watching this crap live. Ron Techie's Fire and Water Restoration's Facebook page, Godzilla Media's YouTube, Goz's Twitter, and of course, you can listen to us later anywhere you get your podcast. That's right. If you get your podcast from a paper bag and a weird person on the corner who wears a trench coat, you can find us there as well. So like, subscribe, and set the notifications so you always know where we are, because we're early today because Goz likes to move us around.
Woohoo! Let's start with my Buccaneers after punishing everyone
under your bucking hat.
20-18. Cam, I see your comment. Take the L, guys. Goodness gracious. What a terrible performance.
What a meltdown.
By my Buccaneers, man.
What a meltdown.
I know Tom Brady is probably the first person people are going to point to, and Brady does deserve some criticism when he's screaming at his teammates, even though he didn't go to Wednesday's practice, decided to go to a wedding on Friday for Robert Kraft, then didn't go to the team Saturday and traveled to his own private jet to the game. He did drive the team down the field to tie the game and didn't get the 2-point conversion. So there is a little, he also is Tom Brady. But Tampa's just old, man. Like them in Green Bay. I know we talked about the Packers. We'll do them next. But it feels like the same team right now. No offensive line. The impact players don't step up like they used to. And good move by Pittsburgh going back to Trubisky, who we come to find out, the local reports from Pittsburgh said the real reason he was benched is because him and Deontay Johnson got in an argument in the locker room at halftime of an earlier game this season, and that's why he went to the bench, not because of performance.
Careful arguing with your team. You have to move. The question becomes Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask. Who would you rather have as your quarterback when Brady retires again in 2 to 3 weeks?
I'll take Kyle Trask.
There you go. Because I don't think Brady's gonna finish the year. I don't think because why would he? What is he? He's pissed.
He wants to retire so bad.
He didn't want to come back.
No, he didn't.
He came back because he thought it was the only way he was going to get away from Giselle, and now she left. Can you imagine getting away from Giselle?
He thought Bruce Arians might unretire.
I hope that's a slow motion Baywatch run. I really do.
I think Brady's like, Gronk, come on, man. Do you think he even calls Gronk? He's like, no, I'm already out.
Yeah, Gronk called him. He's like, yo, Brady, let's go. I'm ready to go. No, dude, pull the boat up. Pull the boat up. I'm getting on the boat. I'm coming with you.
We already mentioned the Packers. They played the Jets, of course. It's the same thing. I mean, whatever's happening in Tampa Bay, same thing. Bad offensive line play, old quarterback who might be overpaid Wide receivers are they're way far younger on Green Bay, but it's very similar teams right now. So we'll move on to the Falcons taking on the 49ers, one of the surprises of the weekend. 28-14 winners. San Francisco plays in the NFC title game last season. All of a sudden, Atlanta 3-3 could be easily 4-2 if they got a chance against Tampa last week. And the only team for our fans over at DraftKings that is 6-0 against the spread this season.
Insane. That's insane. And it's you know what makes me mad is how many times do I go, dude, Atlanta's on their way. They got something figured out. They're going to be good. They're whatever. And like I barely bet them. I liked them enough to avoid betting against them, but not enough to bet them. And they haven't lost against the spread all season.
There are two offensive impact players that would stand out, not named Cordero Patterson, who's still on the IR, would be Kyle Pitts and Drake London, the first round pick out of USC. And of course,
they sound like made up names.
Kyle
like
Pitts
they sound like the names that you would make up for the team you were trying to beat in the replacements too.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about Pitts and London? Oh, they're real dickheads. Like whatever. Like
it is.
They just sound like the bad guys.
And they're not playing that great. It's been Atlanta's defense. Grady Jarrett, who really hurt Tom Brady both physically and emotionally on that roughing the passer call. Atlanta's defense, I keep comparing it to the Georgia Bulldogs, but it's so similar. Just nothing but speed. Nobody's got positions on Atlanta. The safety can play linebacker. The linebacker can play defensive end. Art the Fart Smith making it work for the Falcons. And they're
just like his dad, he delivers.
Nice. I thought you were going for a fist bump, and then it was.
Well, I'll take both. I'll take both. Well, yeah. No, why are you doing it like that?
Patriots 38, Browns 15. Bailey Zappi, a.k.a. Zappe on this show. Don't worry. New England Sports Talk's already asking, is Mac Jones's job in jeopardy after the performance by the rookie third rounder from Western Kentucky? I know put a little sarcasm on that statement, but should we actually talk about Mac Jones's job security? Because it is Bill Belichick.
Why would he have any? Like, I heard this statement the other, and I don't know, it might have been Colin Cowherd who said it. Like, why would Mac Jones have job security? What has he done? He's had a couple games, whatever. I think the biggest difference between Mac Jones and Mr. Zappe, Bailey Zappe, is that Zapp doesn't think he's a superstar. Here's the game plan. Go execute the game plan. Okay, what do you want me to do here? Don't force it. What did Rex Ryan used to say? He had a red light, yellow light, green light situation for his quarterbacks. So green light is if you're trailing by X, if you're doing this. Yellow is here, whatever. But forcing the ball and stuff like that. Billy Zappi, he's got a strong arm. He's mobile in the pocket. He executes the game plan. Meanwhile, Mac Jones is forcing it, turning the ball over. He's getting hit because he holds onto the ball too long. Like, the only way Mac Jones gets this job back is if what we're not seeing behind the scenes is Mac Jones going to, whoever the offensive coordinator is. I think it's Robert Kraft's new wife. I don't know.
Joe Judge, Matt Patricia, Steve Belichick, somebody, right?
And saying, I'm really happy this happened because I can see what I was doing wrong. And boom, 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 boom. That's the only way. Because I think he thinks he's entitled to this job because he's a first-round pick.
And there you go, right? If you said first-rounder versus third-rounder, most franchises are able to take the first-rounder. If you said this, though, we've got an NCAA record-setting quarterback versus a guy who played one season and was a third-stringer for most of his career, you'd say, wait, what? Oh, Bailey Zappi is the record-setting quarterback from Western Kentucky, and the other guy sat on the bench at Alabama? Oh, that's kind of strange. Okay. But I brought up the Belichick thing because we have examples of it. Drew Bledsoe was a number 1 overall pick before Tom Brady came in, and Belichick rolled with Brady. Cam Newton was an MVP quarterback. They signed Cam Newton. He turned to Mac Jones. I'm sure, and maybe an older listener or watcher will know the example of Cleveland, where Belichick, I'm sure, set a quarterback in Cleveland for a younger quarterback. He rolls with who wins. And who's going to tell Belichick he can't? He is the GM. You mentioned the offensive coordinator. Right. Belichick's making that call. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if you're a first rounder, third rounder. He doesn't care what Kuiper and McShay think. He's putting the best guy out there. And right now, 74% completion percentage, the best in the NFL. Yeah, he'll roll with Zappi if he needs to.
Since we're not 100% sure how the weekend show is going to happen yet, because I'm going to be in Columbus, I'm going to go ahead and take the Monday Night Football lock of whatever the spread is, Patriots over Bears.
Ooh.
Whatever the spread, I don't even is it out? Yeah, I don't even know if it's out. If it's out, whatever the spread is, Patriots over Bears. I've got Belichick 7.5 points. Fine, good, I'll do it. I've got Belichick against Justin. Don't call me Mrs. Fields. and what's it? Eberflus, which I think roughly translates. I think it's Dutch for dim-witted dead mouse. I think is what it's.
No, that's
accurate. I think that's what it means. It's at least I know dim-witted's in there, and I'm almost positive. But like, how do I not take them? Think about this, right? We're talking about the future of all these teams and what they're going to do and how they're going to be. I've got arguably the best coach team in football. Guys executing the way they're supposed to execute everything they're doing. Going against the Bears, the Jets, the Colts, and the Jets before they see the Vikings.
That's nice for New England. That's real nice.
New England's right in this thing again. Just when you think they're out. Now after that, at Vikings, home for Bills, at Cardinals, at Raiders, who knows what that means. Bengals, Dolphins, Bills to end the season. So they need to win those games.
But you mentioned those 4 games, those first 4. When's Zappe coming off the field? If he plays good in those 4 games, Belichick's not taking him off the field, right?
He comes off the field if he gets hurt or starts playing like crap. Yeah. I think it's his job to lose at this point.
Colts 34, Jags 27. A strange game here with 2 running backs down for Indianapolis. Matt Ryan played really well. Indianapolis comes from behind and wins. It felt different when Phillip Rivers was always getting yelled at by Scott Hansen on Red Zone. Tough loss for the Jags there. This felt like one they really needed to kind of lay claim to the top of the division. Instead, Indy found something, somehow, some way to find a victory in this one.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled with how that went down. Matt Ryan all of a sudden looked like Matty Ice. It was one of those things where it was clicking. It happened late, but there was also some really crappy calls. It was not a pretty game. But they were the better of the 2 teams, and it was one of the ones I got wrong on the day. The Jags are so close, though. You can see it. Like if you told me I have to pick one of these teams, like who's going to finish stronger, I'm probably taking the Jags. ATN had a good game, which we hadn't seen yet. We'd seen a little some flashes of how that was going to work out, but we've seen Doug Peterson use that kind of running back very, very well. So I think the Jags are still on their way, but good win. It wasn't a must win, but it was definitely a have to win for the Colts, and they got it.
Fan base needed that one too. We just talked about fan bases earlier. Indy was ready to continue to throw stuff at Frank Reich. Good win there for Indy. Vikings 24, Dolphins 16. This score doesn't reflect how much Minnesota really dominated the game. Miami again dealing with injuries. Tua was out. Teddy Bridgewater came in because Skylar Thompson got hurt. Yeah. Twitter had started to suggest that Thomas Morstead, the pride of SMU, Byron Hunt, I'm sure was watching it somewhere. We thought a punter might have to go in at quarterback for Miami. Minnesota's really good, but they benefited from at least in my take, they benefited from the constant injuries for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Skylar Thompson never left that game, it would have been really, really ugly. Minnesota looked bored. Like they just looked like they knew they had this game. They knew they put in just the amount of effort they needed to win the game, which I don't love. Smash the teams you can smash. But the Dolphins, the injuries, and I think the league is kind of, look, new kid, smart guy at the head coach, and he was doing some things. We'll see what happens when Tua is healthy. He's supposed to be back this week. But I think you're going to see the Dolphins look like a very average football team the rest of the year.
Dalvin Cook looks healthy. And we're talking about health, right? And there's so much talk about who the best running backs are with injuries. Cook looked really good, especially later in that game.
Dalvin Cook's like, maybe you forgot who I am?
Different numbers, still pretty good.
Right.
This one hurt, man. They were winning the entire game. Bengals 30, Saints 26. Jamar Chase takes over, but it's more missed tackles than a Chase takeover. This should have been New Orleans' game. We both had the Saints as a lock. This is one of these heartbreaking bets where you're right the entire time until you're wrong at the end.
Yep, right until you're wrong. That's pretty much sums up that game. For me, to have the Bengals win by more than 3, which rarely happens, really sucked. Could have at least got the push out of that. But no, the Saints are a weird team to figure out. Like Dennis Allen, you almost have to discount his terrible record with the Raiders until you see him take this Saints team that has a plus defense, good wide receiver weapons, even though they're hurt. But you had Alvin Kamara in that game, which makes up for a lot of that. You've got the pieces you need. The bench, the blueprints, if you will, the bench drawings or whatever, were of how to use Taysom Hill were left for you by Sean Payton, and you lost to a Bengals team that you had on the ropes.
Yeah, that hurt when Taysom Hill sometimes was on somebody's bench in fantasy. Then you start him this week, and then he doesn't put up 30.
Can you let me know in advance whether or not you're going to use him? Like if he's on your bench, I'm going to bet him as an anytime touchdown.
Starting,
then, just go back
off.
Yep,
Rams 24, Panthers 10. Another one. This was one of my locks. I missed. Carolina came out strong early. They had the lead at halftime. They were only down 7 going into the fourth quarter. It felt like for a Panther fan, it was all about Matt Rule. And then you realized maybe our entire team just stinks. Like maybe the whole thing is just like PJ Walker had less than 100 yards passing going into the third quarter.
Well, PJ Walker is what he is. He's a USFL quarterback, right? I mean, or XFL. He was USFL, right?
But both, for all we know.
That's a lot of turmoil for a team to go through. Ryan McCarthy, when we were talking about teams, he said, don't forget about the Rams looking older than they are. Their defense is saving their season. And that's like, okay, if the defense is going to save the season, let's do it. There's definitely issues with the Rams personnel to the point where they're even benching Cam Akers, saying we think he deserves a fresh start somewhere else. You know that they need pieces, but I hear most people say that piece is like an OBJ or another wide receiver. It is their running game. It's their offensive line. What's the guy's name? The
Whitworth?
Yeah, that guy, the Whitworth Candies. He is Werther's original. He was the glue that held that line together. And now they don't have that, and you can see it. There's a lot wrong, but they're still a really, really good team, and good enough that Robbie Anderson's now a member of the Cardinals. Like, how does that work with Wilkes, by the way?
Just threw him off the team.
Well, like what I'm saying, like he gets in an argument with the wide receiver coach, Robbie Anderson. And by the way, Robbie Anderson's hair is, and I get it, you're a white guy, you don't understand Levack, blah, blah, blah. That just when that helmet comes off and you just see that pop out, you're just like, huh. Like I would have guessed that was under there.
Do you remember this? I don't think we've ever brought this up before. Was it you and me? I could have sworn it was you and Armin when Robbie Anderson was his first year with the Jets. We got him live on the air out of the shower. Was it you and I? And it's the same thing. It was like 5:15. We got Robbie Anderson live for 3-minute interview.
Yep. And
might be a top 5 worst interview you've ever done.
So like we do, if you're watching on Tech East Fire and Water Restoration's Facebook or Godzilla's YouTube, like we have little hand signals we do for each other. So like when Goz is done, he'll give me like a rap. Like he'll just do this under the table. He'll just swirl his finger. And then I'll go, no, I got more, or I'll go, yeah, me too. A lot of times when Goz will rap, I'll look over, I'm like, dude, I got like 6 more things I want to say to this guy. So I'll just be like, good, I got it. Let me go. And it's cool. And then if Goz thinks of something, he'll put his hand up, he'll like wave like he wants back in. Robbie Anderson, I think it was like 3 seconds. I think when he sat down, we both started doing the swirling finger.
Get out.
And then like, dude, there's guys who are built for that, and there's guys who aren't. And that, it is like we've seen it all. But Robbie Anderson is a different kind of dude. But I've heard people have talked to him since. I've heard him on other shows as he's matured and become more comfortable. That was his rookie year. And he's, he at least he gets his point across now. It's still not nobody's beating down the door to get like a weekly Robbie Anderson segment. But like, I mean, that to be kicked off the field and to be traded the next day, like instantly, was impressive. It's something I haven't seen before. And I will point out, Wilkes wanted him gone so bad, he sent him to the team that fired him after 1 year. He sent him to the Cards. That's how bad he wanted him out.
Somewhere DJ Moore's like, is that all it takes? Is that all it takes?
I'm telling you right now, DJ Moore's over there going to Wilkes like, yeah, man, I can't believe the Giants said that about your mother. Like, whatever. Like,
it's like Ted, right? The movie Ted, where he keeps insulting his boss.
Right,
getting promoted. Yeah. DJ, you're getting the ball more this week.
I like the cut of your jib.
19-9. Speaking about Steve Wilkes' former team, the Cardinals lose to the Seahawks. We nailed this preview, if that means anything. We both said Kenneth Walker III had to be the key. Seattle slowly getting better defense too. I know, like the offense has been talked about with Geno Smith and the injuries, DK Metcalf, but a really good performance by Seattle in that division matchup.
There's a handful of teams this year that like you can have a conversation about the coaching staff and just like you knew Belichick and you knew Pete Carroll were good coaches, right? Like great coaches. But Pete Carroll, you hadn't really seen it with Russell Wilson. It was almost like one of those things where it's like he got comfortable letting Russ cook, and it hurt him. he doesn't have that problem. And this is one of the best coach teams I've ever seen. You got the new corner who's doing the exact same things that Richard Sherman did his rookie year.
The stats they showed on Fox there, graphic to graphic. Yep.
And I mean, just it is fun to watch. So like right now, what is it? Patriots, Giants, and Seahawks, like the best coaching jobs I think I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Brian Daboll, Pete Carroll would be the runaway winner for Coach of the Year. And if Pete Carroll retires at the end of this year, maybe that helps his Hall of Fame candidacy. We just mentioned Whitworth. You could argue he was a borderline guy, even though he played for so long. But the fact that he won Man of the Year, the Super Bowl, and his offensive line stinks when he left, probably put him in the Hall of Fame. Pete Carroll can say, I got Geno Smith a winning record. Put me in the Hall of Fame, too.
And listen, the only reason I would put Daboll ahead of any of these guys right now is the second half adjustments. The Giants team in the second half is light years ahead of where they are in the first half. He sees him and his staff. I don't know if they have a leprechaun in there that like they or whatever, or a genie or whatever. They slap the hell out of a unicorn and it craps out the answers. I don't know, but the second half of every game, you watch the Giants come out, and whatever little thing the other team was doing to keep it from going the Giants' way, they've negated it. So that's awesome to watch.
NFC East teams got our 2 primetime games of the week. The Eagles 26, the Cowboys 17. Cooper Rush, not very good. The Eagles, very good.
Yeah. Cooper Rush is a backup. And I was thinking about this because I thought to myself, I was like, man, the Eagles are really good. Jalen Hurts better stay healthy. And I was like, which starting quarterback isn't that the case? You know what I mean? And I thought about it. I was like, okay, almost arguing with myself. Like literally one of those situations where I'm sitting there going, all right, Jeff, why is Jalen Hurts can't get hurt more than whatever? And I thought about it, and I think the reason I look at him that way is because of that option, because of the way they use him. He's got there is Lamar Jackson, there is Josh Allen, there's these physical running quarterbacks. He's a physical running quarterback, and I don't know if like you look at the Cowboys, Cooper Rush is not Dak Prescott, but he was good enough to keep you afloat while he was gone. I don't know anybody who's going to be able to come in I love me some Gardner Minshew. I remember Ian Book, from college where he was decent. Neither one of them is able to run this offense. Not even a shadow of this offense. So if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, I was listening to Solomon Wilcox this morning on NFL radio, and he was so mad at Dan Quinn and the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff because you hurt Micah Parsons in this game. He's like, somebody should have pulled him aside and said, Micah, that quarterback, that's a running back in this game. Run to the mesh point. Don't judge. Don't guess. Hit the quarterback every single play and hit him like a running back. Every single play, reckless abandon. And that's, you got to attack the mesh point. We see that the college coaches know that. Clearly, Dan Quinn is so far removed from college. He didn't know. You've got the one heat-seeking missile on the field that could get to that mesh point while it's happening for the run-pass option and destroy it. And he didn't do it. They didn't block Micah Parsons.
The best player on the Cowboys defense, the best player on the roster, maybe the best player on defense in the league right now.
They schemed him. They out-schemed him and negated him in the game, and the Cowboys never made the adjustment they needed to make. Otherwise, I would have got another lock. Right?
It wasn't too long ago where Eagle fan was pissed that they took Hurts so high in the draft because they thought it hurt Carson Wentz's feelings, and it wasn't laughable now to even compare Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts on the field. And you talked about scheme there about Sirianni.
Even worse, I think the locker room.
Yeah,
I don't think Jalen Hurts is a leader. That team loves him. Carson Wentz is a douche.
Sirianni will do things on 3rd and short and 4th and short. He'll do like this, I want to call it like a schoolhouse formation where it's like the fullbacks next to the quarterback and they just fall forward like a 1920s Lee Corso leather helmet play scheme. That's exactly right. Working towards, so many coaches have an ego that these are the plays I'm going to run. These work. No, Sirianni is like, what works for Jalen Hurts? And it's been working for the Eagles.
Well, it's systems. We have systems. And we have systems. Talk about like the guy who terrible first impression, but obviously knows what he's doing. He's in that if the talent was better on the Giants, the Seahawks, and the Patriots, Sirianni's up there for the coach of the year too.
For sure.
But he's got the most talent of those teams.
We talked a lot about offense throughout this and how it can work. Someone can please call Denver and let them know they're allowed to actually score points. They push it to overtime. We get more Denver Bronco extended football in prime time and standalone games. The Chargers take them out with the field goal at the end, 19-16. Of all those games we've just talked about, usually we joke around and say, oh, we saved the best for last. This actually probably was the worst for last. At times, still Denver, and you've said this since August, unwatchable how bad this team is, and they still stick around in games.
Well, so here's the question. What's more upsetting? How bad Denver is or how overrated the Chargers are? Because that's what we went into, and that's why I took the Broncos in this game plus 4.5. It's a lock. Paid off. I went 2-2 on my locks, and this one was easy to me. And it was funny because it's one of those ones where Mike Corda from Tech East and the Empire and Matt Woods, from the Empire and Tech East, we're all texting each other, and they're like, Chargers. I'm like, guys, no, this one is the Broncos, and they're like, what the hell do you see in the Broncos? I see a defense that's solid, and I see a Chargers team that's overrated. And I think that they can ugly this game up on them. And I think I see two coaching staffs that just shoot themselves in the foot. They must have, when they hear shotgun, they must win because they must assume they're going to shoot themselves in the foot with a shotgun. The pistol, shoot in the foot. I'm sure they're intelligent people on some level. I don't know, Buddy Hackett might get on Jeopardy and house shit, but he is not a head coach in the NFL. And on top of that, what's his name there? The guy for the Chargers. He's
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley. I keep on to call him Deuce Staley, which is where I think I'm wrong.
You probably should have head coaching job too, though.
But he's like, I almost feel like he's the guy who should be sitting behind a smart head coach going, the paper says we should do this. And then the smart head coach goes, yeah, let's do that this time. Or no, because they've done this to us all game. We're not going to do that. He lives and dies by the paper, by the analytics. And he spends a lot more time dying at it than living at it. There's nothing I saw in that game that makes me think either one of these teams are playoff worthy.
Can we get Seth Wickersham or a really smart Wright Thompson? I need a long form piece on Russell Wilson. I want someone to break the whole thing down from Seattle to Sierra to Mr. Unlimited to Let's Rock. I need a long form on this guy about his life and what's going on, because I am still twisted about what to think about Russell Wilson.
He's broken.
One other thing that's blowing my mind, I just triple checked. I wanted to make sure I got this right because the stat blows me away. Denver is 2-4.
Yes.
They've played 6 games. That math adds up. 2 + 4 is 6. That defense has only allowed 6 touchdowns to what? You are 2-4 and your defense allows a touchdown a game?
Didn't most of those come from the Raiders?
And most of them came in the Raiders at 23 because they had 2 in that game and a bunch of field goals. But
yeah, the Raiders won. Yeah, 32-23.
6 touchdowns in 6 games. A defense, you should be winning games by double digits. You should be 6-0 if your defense is playing that well.
And Tommy Gross just pointed out, Chargers won the game with a kicker dealing with a hamstring injury. I'm going to say it. Milk it much, dude. I'm sorry, man. If he didn't have to have that leg amputated by the end of the game, he was faking it.
Soccer style.
Oh my God. It was so every time he would get over to the practice net to kick, he would do he'd be lining up like he's going to, is it Scott? Is that the guy named?
For a long time, it was Josh Lambo used to be the kicker for the Chargers.
I think it's, I don't even know what his name is. No, Dustin Hopkins.
Oh yeah, he's been around the league. Yeah.
So he's lining up like he's gonna kick, and then he'll look over and see the camera. He'll stop. Be like, every kick he falls down afterwards. It was just I'm like, dude, come on. He was, again. If he has 2 legs today, he was faking it. If he has 2 legs, he was faking it. That was so bad, so bad. Another comment from Bill. Herbert never threw downfield. Wilson is a mystery. Herbert couldn't throw downfield. The offensive line was destroyed, and there were Denver Broncos in his face at 1.5 seconds of every snap.
I'd like to point out, this is not a shot at our soon-to-be mentioned sponsor here, but I would like to point out that Herbert had thrown a touchdown pass in 26 of 27 games in his career. And last night, our friends over at DraftKings had a boost that if Justin Herbert threw a touchdown, you'd win the bet.
Well, it just goes to show you they know what they're doing.
Exactly right. He did
because I was like, that's an easy one. That's that should be a straight cash, homie. No.
We've got other ways for you to cash, though, because NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back tonight. So tip off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped up same game parlay today. With payouts bigger than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where we go to bet on the NBA, whether it's the Knicks and the Nets that we're about to preview. That's right. Whether it's the Lakers, the Warriors, whoever you want, whether it's those big time matchups, whether it's those player props, whatever you want to see happen, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered this basketball season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our promo code 518 and 518. Make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Promo code 518. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Show enough. I gotta be honest, man. I was so like, I don't want to say like into, but I was so impressed with the way the Knicks were handling the preseason. I felt like it was already regular season. I didn't realize
the production was good on that, right? Yeah.
I thought I'm sitting there watching the Knicks kind of like, look like an NBA team. I'm getting excited, like whatever. And I think I allowed myself to believe that like those games like mattered. I think that's what happened. Cause like I was watching, like I got watched a little bit here, a little bit there, and it just didn't, and then it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They scored over 100 points every game.
Philly takes on Boston tonight. The Lakers take on the Warriors. The NBA early vibe is always weird. I am intrigued by the Nets, though. Now with Ben Simmons somewhere, our guy Tom Kirk.
I heard he's just dealing.
Zion Williamson and Ben Simmons both scheduled.
No, Simmons.
Simmons.
He likes mustache. Something's different.
He does like that. Yeah, the NBA season. You should wager on it, okay? DraftKings, promo code 518. All that stuff is good. My fear, besides the storyline of LeBron James potentially becoming the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NBA, which is pretty cool to see that happen for LeBron, is I hope it's not a race to the bottom this year. Have you heard about the prospect, the big 7'5" Frenchman yet? Victor Wembanyama? Wait till you see this kid. 7'5". He's about 6 inches taller than the Greek Freak. They are calling him the greatest prospect ever, maybe in any sport in our lifetime. This is a video game movie 7'5" player. And remember, the lottery is no longer weighted, so everybody has the same odds if you get to the. They think this Victor Wembanyama, and I'm tossing another Z instead of an S in there, could be the greatest prospect ever. So people like the Jazz and the Magic and the Thunder, it's potentially a race to the bottom. And Adrian Wojnarowski, getting a lot of long names here in this NBA preview, mentioned that that's potentially what the season could look like. I hope not. I hope we get really good players and some awesome action, and the New York teams are competitive. But my fear is that this could be a race to the bottom season this year, going after what could be the greatest prospect ever. And I feel like that's not the first time we've said that. Like Zion was supposed to be, Ben Simmons was supposed to be, LeBron actually was.
Honestly, there's the greatest prospect ever is Steve Ho You Fat.
Did he make a roster? I hope he did. Is he in the
so.
G League?
I don't think.
Whatever it's called now, the Z League.
I think he's in the G League.
All right.
I think he's in the G League. He's 34. That sucks. I was hoping he was going to be. I think he's playing for the Metropolitans 92. Steve Ho You Fat. His last name is Ho space YOU space FAT. Steve Ho You Fat. He's French too, by the way.
We got to get the jersey.
So I'm sorry, Steve Ho You Fat.
On est banquet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just.
Are you optimistic about the Knicks or the Nets?
I'm always, season? Yeah. The Knicks look great, undefeated right now.
Never lost.
Never lost. I don't know. Like I said, I think the Knicks. The problem with the Knicks are, as they are constructed, they are not a championship roster. As they are constructed, they are probably not a, Eastern Conference Final roster. So, what do you add? I think they're a playoff roster. I think they can make the postseason this year. I think they have enough young talent that they can go out there and get it done, play some bonus hoops.
I do too. I think the Knicks are in a better spot this year than they were last year.
No, they're still at MSG. They're still at Madison Square Garden.
They feel more like a top 10 team this year. And it's weird to say top 10 because it used to be 8 for so long in the NBA playoffs. I could see New York, with looking at the Eastern Conference, getting back to the postseason this year. It makes a little bit more sense. The Nets, I hated them so much last year. But, man, Durant deciding to stay in Brooklyn. Kyrie, when he decides to go on the court. Nope. I bit my lip. You actually saw it on the visual side. I almost said, wow, with a pissed off Ben Simmons, he might be really good. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Guys, do not bite your lip for the visual side. All the ladies out there are flooding floors over that. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Ryan McCarthy is in his car headed to Tech East Fire and Water Restoration right now. He's Ryan McCarthy. Sadly, Stephen Ho You Fat jersey not available on Fanatics.
Come on, Michael Rubin,
you can make it
out.
You can make it.
Can
you just make it? You just have it made.
You
I want to make up a team and then put Ho You Fat on the back. Like I want to make up a team like the Smelly Pirate Hookers, like Drew logo.
What about the Albany Empire basketball team? Just expand the brand, make some sports history. You have 2 franchises, 2 sports.
Get a little touch and go when you talk about the Albany Empire outside of football.
Oh, okay.
Because there is an Albany Empire team besides the football team locally. It is it's a gay soccer club.
I did not know that.
It's
I forgot. I forgot about that.
and dudes can ball.
Oh.
Right. And dudes ball. You know what I'm saying? What's up? They have fun. You ever go to their website, man? They did like from parades and stuff back before COVID. Those boys got after it. They had some fun. I'm not mad at them, you know.
Boston's the best team
in the rainbow, as they say.
Boston's the best team in the East.
What?
About the West?
Nah, the 76ers.
Okay, man. Joel Embiid. All right. I don't who do I want to take in the West?
I gotta be honest with you, though. You look at that Knicks roster. We actually have 3 point guards this year that could play in the NBA. Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel Quickley, and Derrick Rose.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
You know, Evan Fournier needs Grimes needs to get healthy as far as the the shooting guard. RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, and then if you get rid of Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, Cam Reddish, Mitchell Robinson, that's a fun little team.
Pretty good.
Fun team right there. Fun.
I'm not switching the graph. You know what? I will switch the graphic because I like the question Bill just asked us for Q&A at the end of the day because that's kind of set me up here. NBA champions this year. Your picks for the NBA champions. I will go first because I kind of teased the Boston thing. Just looking at rosters right now, I would pick the Celtics to win the championship this year. That is my pick here on an abbreviated NBA preview.
I did that last year. It didn't work out.
You did. You got a few wins away, though. You got pretty close. I am so tempted to take Denver in the West. Jamal Murray comes back, and here's my hot take for the NBA this year. Draymond Green does not finish the season as a Warrior. Draymond Green will get traded from Golden State because that situation with him and Poole, Golden State decided, okay, we're going to pay Steph Curry. We're going to pay Klay Thompson. We're going to pay Andrew Wiggins. Jordan Poole is younger. He's not better, but he's younger than Draymond Green. So you're telling me you're going to give 4 guys $100 million contracts? Now, there's a luxury tax in the NBA, sort of like baseball, where the owners have to pay for it if you go over the cap. So what are they going to pay in the Warriors? $80 million? $100 million? That's what those 4. Not with Draymond. And Draymond's the guy who punched Poole in the face. They might think Draymond's done. They might not like the podcast stuff. Cowherd gets a 3rd mention on this show today. That's my hot take. Give me the Celtics and the Nuggets. Celtics win the championship, and Draymond Green, my hot take, gets traded, and LeBron breaks the scoring record. There you go, Bill. There's some hot NBA takes for you.
Jesus. I'm going to take – I think Golden State – I think if Golden State doesn't have Draymond, they're probably stronger because what they get for him. How about Golden State over Brooklyn?
Okay.
How about that?
A lot of talent out on that court, yeah.
But there's the ones that make me nervous. Like obviously, you look at what's going on in Brooklyn. You still have monster players. You have the reports are that Ben Simmons is being used appropriately. He's a passer. They're not using him to score. Got plenty of scorers on that team. Don't need any more help there. I look at those guys. I'm like, the sleeping giants. Well, same with the Clippers. What about the Clippers? I mean, when does Kawhi Leonard act like Kawhi Leonard again? When does PG3 get out there and get busy? Like. There's a lot of teams that have been like kind of holding back. Yeah, I can see this year being the year where they go off a little bit. But I like Warriors over Nets in the NBA Finals.
Now We got more predictions here. Tommy wants to know who we got in the NLCS as the winner. I'm going to go first again here for Padres Phillies. I will take good pitching over good hitting. If you give me Cleffinger, if you give me Musgrove in his ears, if you give me Yu Darvish, even though Philly's offense is really good and the Padres don't have still, and won't, Tatis Jr., I will take better pitching over better hitting. Give me San Diego.
I'll go against you. In the words of former future Yankee Bryce Harper, we're not losing this fucking game. That's what it's his mantra. He just keeps telling the guys, we're not losing this game. And they bought into it. Every team needs that thing, right? They need that thing beyond the game of baseball that almost distracts you from the fact that you've played 170 games now, and you haven't seen your family, and you're doing this, and how many times can you look across the room and there's Reese House with balls? Like, you need something, and their something is that Bryce Harper's their leader, and he keeps telling them we're not losing this game, and they're going for it. So I will take the Phillies to go to the World Series. I think the Padres are very talented, obviously, but I just don't think they have. I don't think they have that unifying direction.
Corey wanted to let us know he thinks the Knicks are going to be terrible.
Listen, Corey, when I want to know how to milk a cow, or go set up an amazing booth at a farmer's market, Darfler Farms, farmer market, Corey cleans up. He's great. He's got multiple flavored syrups. He's got steaks. He's got his Corey's nuts. People love to have Corey's nuts in their mouth.
Oh.
All those things. But if I want to talk about basketball, I'm not talking about Corey. Corey's got 75 favorite teams in every league. And some teams only have 30 teams. Some leagues only have 30 teams. He's got 70.
Is this guy trying to get in the building?
No, he's waiting for his ride.
Oh, okay.
One of the techs here at Tech East.
Stretching.
Dude, a lot of I guess there was a big old flood. One of the houses, a house not too far from here, basically started in the it's like a 3-story with an attic. The flooding started at the top and went all the way down. So our guys have been cleaning that house out for like 2 days, getting it perfect so they can start rebuilding. Our construction can start rebuilding at Tech East.
The last one here on Q&A of the day. Bill, I wasn't going to click this, but you got me. I'd take the bait.
Yep.
Someone needs to pick up Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, the bus head of the nursing home.
That was hurtful.
Well,
he's old. I think Melo's had a good enough run. He didn't get the championship with the Lakers. I was hoping for it. 19 years. It's you got back in the league. You played we're good. 19 years along. We're good, Melo. I'm good, Bill. I love Carmelo. That's my guy. I think I'm good. I'm good for retirement.
Are you saying that Melo should do the one thing he never did in his career? Pass.
Damn it. Damn it.
There it is. Thank you. Thank you. Have you seen the Redeem Team yet?
It's on my list. I got a lot of things I got to catch up on. I've heard it's got fantastic reviews.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I think it's on Netflix. So
I'll put it on the list. I heard it's very good.
You just made the list. My boy Dalton Castle's on tonight, right?
Yes, Dalton Castle. Shout out to Dalton Castle.
Nobody cuts a promo like Dalton Castle.
Oh,
How is Dalton Castle not on all the big shows? Like all of like so he's at Jericho?
Jericho post Yankees-Guardians on TBS. So they're about to post some numbies, as the kids say. A big rating pop for Dalton Castle tonight.
He came out. So I get a lot of these things sent to me now because people know that he's my guy. He's my boy. Him and Bobby Fischer, two of my favorite people, and they happen to be wrestlers. Jericho puts out an open challenge to anybody who was a Ring of Honor champion. And Dalton comes out, and he's just so he's different than everybody else. He does I think he does the modern day version of what like a Gold Dust or a beautiful whatever
Gorgeous George.
It's a modern day version of it, and it's so funny. His deliveries are perfect, and he can actually wrestle to the point where even Jim Ross thought, I can wrestle. He can't. I didn't know why he was out here challenging a champion. Good old JR.
My God.
My God, that's Dalton Castle's music, the Pachanga. So I hope he was, and he's got a little history with Jericho. He was invited to wrestle on the Jericho Cruise a couple years back. So hopefully he beats him, gets the belt back.
Let's go, Dalton Castle. The boys, is he still allowed to have the boys?
Yeah.
Okay, the boys are out there. Then
I think it was even like the intro. Like if you watch the intro, I was like, boys, let's go. And then like they all come out. And like it's hysterical. If you want to see something very funny, when right before Fish and Dalton wrestled, they have one of the greatest like in-ring promos where like Fish comes up, Dalton comes out, and Fish is like, well, I'd offer you a place to sit. And Dalton has the boys turn into furniture. And then when he throws a fit, he starts flipping the boys instead of the chairs. It's hysterical. It's like, it's just, he's different than everybody else. And it's perfect. And the fact that Triple H, my cousin Paul Levack, cannot get it right and get him over there. The fact that Tony, I'm on the Spectrum Con, and not in a bad way. Just I feel bad for the dude. He's very twitchy. I worry about him. Like I think these guys got to get it right. They got to get it right. They got to get the party peacock in there.
Let's go, Dalton. Big performance tonight.
Jericho goes, I'm gonna pluck every one of your feathers, and Dalton's like, how dare you? He's so good. He's so good. I'm gonna watch wrestling tonight.
Good.
I'm gonna watch wrestling.
Yankees victory. Watching AEW.
Yeah, first pitch. So at the time that we're doing this, Yankees first pitch is just about to happen. So whether or not I'm drinking in 3 hours is up to them. I guess I should retreat to the backyard, fire up a stove, try to get a little good luck going the way of the Yankees.
Do it.
Because I did it. So I did it the night they won. I wasn't able to night 2, and then night 3 I went out and smoked. Judge hits the home run. So I'm like, all right, good to go. Scar's done, go back in the house. They lose the game. I'm like, this is some bull crap.
Not good.
Some bull crap.
Our weekend plans, it could be out Saturday, could be out Sunday, could be out Friday. We don't know what we're going to do yet. So make sure you turn on those notifications and find out when the next Levack and Goz hits.
Yeah, I've got a lot of people planning my week for me. So, and I'm not one of them.
Do you have any advice for us?
Yeah, I have a lot of advice for you.
Okay.
I do. I have some advice for you right now. Stop looking at me for advice. How the hell do I know what I'm talking about? What's wrong with you guys? Think of your own thing. The sun's very bright. It's hot in here and I'm fat. I'm grouchy at this point. All right. How dare you? And actually, too, also, if you hate Goz and you just want to talk to me, just let me know. I'm around.